Thank you.
You're very welcome. So and then what I'm going to do is I'm going to put you into small groups so you can practice with this exercise here. So what I'd like you to do is do this together. It's just sentences. So just complete the sentences with the correct form. With the correct form of the verb. So as Ava blinked through the square, she blanked an old friend who blanked for years. Okay, so you can talk about these together and you can decide whether you need the simple past, the past continuous, the past perfect, or the past perfect continuous in each of these sentences. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
But let's talk about this. So let's do the first one. So what did you put here as Ava?
Was walking.
Was walking.
Yeah, actually, this is interesting. I didn't think about this, but you're right. It could be both. Was walking or walked could be correct here. You could have either one. How about the next one? She?
Saw.
Good. This can only be saw. Do you know why?
Because so
It's a
Dative verb.
Dative verb.
It has to be saw because when you see something, it's one moment.
Yeah, it's very short action. Right. You can watch something for quite a long time, but you can see just a moment. Oh, I can see.
Yes, exactly. She saw an old friend who she
hadn't seen.
Hadn't seen. Good. Hadn't
If
seen.
we can use he hadn't been seen.
No, because we don't normally use seen with ing.
Okay.
That's basically why. Yeah. Okay.
Okay, thank you.
Sure. How about two? We blanked.
We were.
We had been at the airport.
We had been
for 2
we
hours
were
before they told us.
2 hours.
Okay. Okay. There's a couple of that, and there's a couple things here. We could say we were.
Yeah.
I think that in informal and even in formal situations, let's just say in spoken English. In spoken English, people are much more likely to use were. In written English, technically, you probably should use had been.
Because it's before, I think because of the conjunction before.
Yes. So you have this, right? What would this be here? They what?
Told us.
They told us. So right, you would have, if you're telling this story, we have now, this is the present moment, but then we have here, this X would be what? This X would be the announcement. This is the past. This is the announcement. And so maybe you got to the airport at this time here, and in between these two times, you were waiting. So technically, you had been waiting.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yes.
Okay. Yes.
Good. Okay. How about three?
Fell asleep.
I have question.
Why are you also watching TV?
Okay.
I was watching.
I was. Okay.
Yes, I was watching. Good. And this one?
Watched.
We had watched, or we had been watching. I don't know.
Had been.
Yeah, because it was the first action before I fell asleep.
So you started watching, right? You started here, and then here is where you fell asleep. And so you had been watching during this time. Good. Jody, you said you had a question.
Yeah.
What's your-
If we use their where in a second
The second
sentence, yeah. So we can use here, they had told us, before they had told us. If we use where there, so 2 hours before they had told us.
No, because they were earlier than they was told. They were told.
I think it also depends on the context. So here, without extra context, I think this would be the most appropriate one to use, is told. Especially if this wasn't important information to your story, then you might use had told, but it's a pretty crucial event in the past. So because it's like a definitive, specific, and development to whatever you're going to say, it makes more sense to say told here. Okay.
Okay.
All right. How about 4?
When he entered
Enter.
room.
The children greeted.
Good.
Because it's one action after another.
Another.
Yeah, that's a very
we-
good point, Teresa. Usually if we list actions,
Yeah.
then we normally we also use simple past.
Yeah, I got up, I washed up,
Not children
Yeah.
were greeting him. He entered and then children were greeting him.
Again, it kind of depends on the context, but usually when you greet someone, it's not a duration, it's not an activity that lasts a long time. Like if I
Yeah.
greet, it's just
Oh.
hi, hello.
hello, Mr. Green. That's all. Good morning, Mr. Green. Right.
Exactly.
Okay, I see.
Good. How about 5?
We had,
I had
seen.
I had seen.
I had seen already
I had
the film.
already seen.
Yes.
I had
Okay.
already seen.
Mhm.
But I decided to
Decided.
watch
Decided.
it again.
Good. Decided. It's a completed action in the past that happens
Yes.
really quickly, right?
Mhm.
Normally, unless you're me, and then sometimes decisions can take a long time.
Yes.
Okay. 6.
The
Was
factory
running.
had been running.
Was running. I don't know here.
Had been running.
Had been running for
Yes,
many
for
years.
many years.
Before.
It closed. Or it closed.
Good. So if we look at this here, right, we have, let's say here it would be
Mhm.
the factory closed.
Closed.
And we have, if I move this X, if I move this X
Yes.
here, right,
Mhm.
the factory, we could say this is where the factory opened. And in between this time,
Running the factory.
it was very successful. It was running successfully between these 2 times. There's a duration.
It's
of-
also a duration
Uh-huh.
because of many years.
Yes.
Exactly.
Thank
exactly.
you.
I think, was that the last one? No, we have one more. Okay, what about the last one?
It's complicated. I needed.
I needed
needed
a
a
break because I
I
had
driving.
been driving so long.
Mhm.
What I recommend, if you have trouble with past tenses, especially if you come from a language background that maybe you don't have past tenses or not so many past tenses, that drawing these kinds of charts, like if you can just take any action in the past. I'm sure you can find plenty examples of sentences online. Just draw a little chart of when you think each thing is happening. It could kind of help you figure out why the writer or the speaker is using the tense that they are using. Okay?
Okay,
Yes.
thank you.
Sure. Before we end, Do you have any questions for me?
Mm-mm.
I know it's a big topic, so you might have to practice it more than once before it clicks, but you will get it. Eventually you will get it. It just takes practice.